Dave was walking his dog when he encountered a German Shepherd staring into a storm drain. He did not think much of it. He just thought it was odd that the dog was all by himself. The next day, the same thing was happening. Dave grew more suspicious. Then he started to hear noises from the drain. He immediately called emergency services to get the drain open. A fire truck quickly arrived at the scene. They had the necessary tools to open the storm drain. The noises kept growing louder. What was stuck in the drain? Something happened that Dave did not expect. Dave was told he needed to come in for questioning. They had contained the German Shepherd and wanted to know from Dave what was going on. Dave was stunned. He was treated like he was a suspect. The officers set Dave down in the interrogation room and immediately started asking questions. They were under the impression that the German Shepherd was his. However, Dave told them that he only had one dog, which was contained in another room together with the German Shepherd. The police had checked street cameras. They had seen Dave every day walking around the German Shepherd and interacting with him and the drain. Now they had no leads, but they did not want to share what they had found inside of the drain. When Dave asked about it, they turned pale. They asked him to walk them through his day, and they had to get some leads in. Since Dave had called the emergency services, they had only one lead that they could follow. Dave told them that the noise was unmistakably something he had never heard before. He had heard a soft but persistent banging and occasional screeching. Dave continued that he started to look around to see if he saw the owner of the shepherd. The shepherd had already been staring inside the drain for a couple of days now. No one seemed to care, but Dave had a feeling something was going on. Dave started looking around to find help. He wanted to get away from here as fast as possible. He tried dragging his own dog away from the drain, but he refused to move. Dave felt confused, standing there in the middle of the street with his dog and the German Shepherd, looking around in circles as if he were delirious. Many eyes of people walking by fell on him, and he was starting to get a bit uncomfortable. Finally, and fortunately, Dave made the decision to listen to his own dog. Focusing on the sewage below, he could hear the noises again, and this time in more detail. Yet, even with his eyes squinted, all Dave could see was darkness below. At least in Dave's mind, someone or something was clearly in danger. How could he be the only one realizing this in such a crowded place? At first, Dave said that he tried to push the cover of the sewer pipe. It stayed right in place. Dave looked around. A handful of people had been watching him from a distance, and now they dared to come closer. It was now that more and more people also started to hear the worrying sounds coming from the sewer. The situation was urgent. Dave knew that the only way to accomplish his mission was to take matters into his own hand. He called the owner of a towing company that he happened to know, and again he went into what had happened. Dave ventured that he would have the right equipment to remove this devilish cover. The owner of the towing company had another idea. He insisted on involving the authorities. Dave came up with a plan. If he wanted to call the emergency services, he had to have a solid reason. If there was nothing down there, he risked an enormous fine. Messing with government property was something the towing company owner was very hesitant about. Dave stayed persistent. Dave was sick of everything. The shepherd did not move an inch all this time. Dave decided that he would call the fire department. He had made something up about animals being down there. They wanted to know how he knew. He told them that his German Shepherd could smell them. This is why Dave was later arrested. Then he heard the fire department coming in. They did not even acknowledge Dave. The men that had arrived clearly did this kind of job more often. A bit of the right positioning and prying was in order, but it did not take them long to break the rust and get the first movement in action. Opening the sewer was only the start of this quest. Now that it had been accomplished, someone had to go down. A fireman approached Dave. He told Dave that his colleagues weren't willing to go down. They had no experience with this. Dave was told they needed to wait for a specialist. Dave did not agree with this decision. Dave ran past the fireman and jumped down the dark pipeline. He heard the fireman shout at him to come back. Dave would definitely regret this. Dave was now in the dark. He was lucky that he had his phone on him. He decided to turn on his flashlight. He had to follow the sounds now. Dave kept walking until he hit a dead end. He had no idea where he was going. The battery on his phone was dying as well. He needed to be quick, or he would be completely lost in the sewer system. He had made a big mistake. Eventually, by some miracle, he managed to get closer to the sound. This was when things started to turn dark. The screeching and sounds turned into something way more sinister. When Dave got closer, he saw glowing eyes in the distance. He had to make a run for it. After blindly running into the dark, he saw some light around the corner. Dave almost blacked out from the stress. This was when he bumped into something. He felt like his life was over. The thing that was chasing him had finally caught up. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he had bumped into one of the firemen who went looking for him. Dave was escorted to the exit by them. They told him he was very irresponsible. He should have never gone down the pipeline without a specialist. When Dave told them what had happened, they turned pale. No one could go down now. Dave was questioned when the police arrived. He was the only one who had seen what was down the drain. Dave wasn't sure what he encountered, but he knew one thing for sure. That creature was dangerous. Dave saw that another team had arrived. These are the specialists that the firemen were talking about. He wanted to stay to see what was going on, but then he got arrested. When they were done questioning Dave, they decided that he had done nothing wrong and set him free. Dave instantly drove back to the storm drain. He had heard that the German Shepherd had broken out. When he got to the scene, he saw that the police tried to keep everyone at a safe distance. Dave heard screaming, and everyone was instantly silent. No sound was coming from the sewer anymore. Dave felt like something bad had just happened there. The police rushed towards the storm drain. Then something happened. Out of the drain came the team of specialists, who looked completely shocked. There was still one person of the search team missing. The German Shepherd waited at the top of the storm drain again, and she did not move an inch. What was she waiting for? Eventually, the last person in the group came out of the storm drain. He had something in his hands. Dave couldn't see what it was, but they had definitely found something down there. Then the crowd started clapping. Dave realized that they had found puppies. The German Shepherd was licking them when they got to the surface. These puppies were the Shepherd's puppies. Dave now grasped the entire situation. She had somehow lost her pups, but where is the owner? They determined that the Shepherd did not have an owner. This meant that she needed to be taken to an animal shelter with her puppies. This was when Dave decided to step in. He offered to adopt both the Shepherd and the puppies. The police agreed under one condition. He had to let them visit anytime they wanted to, just to check on all of them. Dave needed to let them get checked by the vet as well. When everything was fine, Dave took them all home. He cared a lot for them and let the police visit whenever they wanted.